Welcome to September 11th update. It was a good day today. Cruising was a little bit interesting, and I'll get into that a little bit more later. First off, I did get that computer from Adam, and I spent a lot of yesterday working with it, getting rid of stuff. When you get these new computers, you got all the passwords and everything else you got to change around, and it just takes time. It just takes time. And so anyways, with today's cruise, we left, or I left, Footloose and I left Pentwater, Michigan at 7:15 in the morning, and there were about 5 loopers all in a row leaving at the same time. And actually a couple of them are here where I'm at right now in Grand Haven. It was raining just about the whole time, and I really don't care about rain, particularly now, because I was having issues with water getting into the cab. I had sealed, so I had sealed. It looked like the water was coming from the stern on the port side. So I sealed where the where you put the water into the watering tank, and that slowed it down quite a bit, but I was still getting a little bit more. So I took a look around, and then there was a breather hole for the water tank. So I ran a bead around it maybe 5 days ago. And today, with all the rain that I had no water in the cab. Awesome. That makes me really happy, because now my carpet's not wet, the padding's not wet, everything is really good. When I did purchase fuel on the 9th, that was $5.55 a gallon there at Pentwater. I checked the Windy app. It was looking really good. And so it looked as though the wind wouldn't pick up until about 8 p.m. at night. So I headed out, and I was just cruising at about 4,000 RPMs, 4,200 RPMs, right in that area. And at that rate, I'm cruising along anywhere from 7 to maybe 9 miles an hour, kind of depending on the water, kind of depending on, a little gust of wind, things like that, little flows of water. And so, that varied a little bit. And so I'm tooling along, and I'm kind of looking at things. And really, where I was, it didn't have really good cell phone range. And so when I got into some cell phone range, I returned some phone calls, and I decided to check the Windy app. And so I pulled the Windy app up, took a look at it, and it looked like now the wind was going to start picking up about 2 o'clock. And so I took a look at my Garmin, and the estimated time of arrival was 2:30. Just moseying along like that. So guess what? I ramped it up the RPMs. I put it around 5,000 RPMs, and now we scooted up between anywhere from 10 to 13 miles an hour. And we got into Grand Harbor, Grand Haven rather, by 1 o'clock. And by that time, about 11:30, things were beginning to pick up, where now I began to get swells anywhere from 8 to 10 inches. By 12:15, those 8 to 10 inch swells were turning into like 12 to 14 inch swells. And so I got into here right at 1 o'clock. The swells were starting to build. They were starting to build. And when I was checking in, the harbor master was talking to someone on the phone who was down in Muskegon, where it's one of the ports that I passed by, and visibility was like 30 feet. And so they were just getting into Muskegon on their radar and their chart plotter. When I went to switch tanks, I walked backwards. I'm clipping along about 10, 15 miles an hour, somewhere in that area. And there was a bunch of water in the back, bunch of water. And it was kind of over the floorboards a little bit. And so I shut down, floated for a little bit, let the water come back into the boat, because my bilge pump is kind of in the center of the boat. And so I had to get off from going like this. I had to let the boat get down like that so that the water would get into the bilge pump and pump out. And so I did that. Once I did that, the boat ran a little bit quicker because, you know, water weighs 7 pounds for every gallon, and I pumped out a lot of gallons of water. Anyways, today's trip was 57 miles. My average speed was 7.6 miles per hour. My maximum speed was 14 miles an hour. I put in 21 gallons at $5.25 a gallon, so pretty reasonably priced here today. My moving time was 6 hours and 26 minutes. So it was a really pretty good day, very good day, that I found out that I plugged all those little water leaks. So life is pretty good. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. When you do subscribe, you'll see that little bell. You can click on that little bell, and then that way you get notified every time I upload a new video. And so thanks for tuning in again, and may all your seas be calm.